It's day 16 in the criminal trial against Sean Diddy Combs. Let's take a look at what happened inside the courtroom. Diddy's former assistant, who was known only under the pseudonym Mia, testified in court today, saying he was violent and sexually assaulted her multiple times while she was working for him. Mia said she worked for Diddy from 2009 until 2017 and recalled years of alleged abuse, which included physical violence, sexual assault, extreme working conditions, and psychological manipulation. Mia said she was expected to work at all hours of the day and had no professional boundaries. She recalled one incident where she wasn't given permission by Diddy to sleep for 5 days straight and had to take Adderall in order to stay awake. Mia is the fourth former assistant to testify. Let's break down today's testimony with Lauren Conlon, podcaster and host of Pop Crime TV. Lauren was at the courthouse today. Lauren, this witness is heavily guarded. Her identity is sealed. You were there today. What can you tell us about her testimony? What happened in the courtroom?
Yes, it was very emotional today. And Mia is her pseudonym. And she's very soft spoken. She kind of has her head down and she's slow to speak. So I felt like everybody was really on the edge of their seat listening here. And I have to say that I've been watching Diddy this entire time, for all of the witnesses, including other assistants. They just happen to be male. And I noticed that when some of the male assistants were up there, he kind of nodded his head and laughed. Today was the first time when Mia testified that I actually saw him shake his head no. It was twice that I noticed. It could have been more, but I noticed there was 2 times. One of the times was when she said that he sexually assaulted her. And this was very early on in the testimony. The government just said, what are the types of things that he did to you? She said he threw me in a pool. He shoved me and he sexually assaulted me. And I did see him shake his head. And I was just shocked because, again, I don't typically see a reaction out of him unless he's laughing or speaking with his lawyers or his family or, his sons. And what Mia testified to, it was a lot of corroboration about what happened to Cassie, what she witnessed, the violence. She also talked about, a physical reaction that Cassie had upon getting a text message from Diddy about setting up an FO. She said Cassie's reaction made her physically ill. And then she testified about hearing an audio recording that Cassie took of Diddy slapping her and Cassie begging him to stop. And she testified about, when she first started, her first day, she started in the morning. She was sent over to Diddy's house in New Jersey, did inventory all day. She gets back to the office in Manhattan. She stays there until 10 p.m. maybe. And then she's sent to the studio. She doesn't leave Diddy's studio until 1 p.m. the next day. And she thought to herself, well, this must be just a trial run here. I'm new. Well, then she testified that there was an instance after that where she stayed up for 5 days straight.
Right.
And this time released Adderall to help her get through it until really her body kind of just gave up on her. And she said she lost her equilibrium, her vision started to blur, and she just kind of broke down. And he finally was like, okay, go home. And then, we heard about an incident where he threw a bowl of spaghetti at her, and it was all because she wanted to change her tampon. She said there was blood running down her leg, and he wanted her to go to IHOP to get food for his party guests. And then after that, she got a call the next day from HR saying she got suspended without pay for this. And she also discussed getting suspended without pay after she and Cassie snuck out to the Prince party where Diddy had told them to stay in a hotel, don't go out. They went out, and because she disobeyed or she was being insubordinate, in his words, she got suspended. And then towards the end of the day, the second half of the day, we heard about Mia's sexual assaults at the hands of Diddy. I guess I could say alleged. I'm not sure what the legal term is here for that.
I think it's alleged still. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yes. So alleged sexual assaults. One was at his 40th birthday. She described taking 2 shots with him. And I don't know if the government was inferring this or not, but this is the way I kind of took it by their questioning and by her answers. She said, she took 2 shots and she felt really strange. And they kind of asked if that was typical for her to feel strange. And she said, well, I lived in New York City, and I was in my 20s. So no, I thought I could drink and I'd be fine. But she describes feeling very strange. He kind of had her up against a wall. He kissed her. He put his hand up her shirt, or I'm sorry, her dress. And then she talked about the next time she came to, she was in a chair in the living room, and she was fully clothed, but they kind of left it at that. So I'm not sure if they were trying to hint that maybe there was something in this vodka. But the other time was a few months later in LA. She was sleeping on the bottom bunk of a bed in a bedroom. And by the way, she testified that he said that nobody, or she couldn't lock her door in his house if she was staying there. And she said the security guards, she noticed, they did lock their doors because she saw a bolt or a keypad. But she said she was woken up by him on top of her, and then he allegedly forced himself inside her. And when she was asked by the government, how did it end? She said that she doesn't know how it ended, but he wouldn't leave a job unfinished.
I saw reports that she kind of had like a mini panic attack on the stand. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, I guess, because she is so she takes her time. I've said that, but she kind of will stutter a little bit as well, trying to find the words. And she took some deep breaths, and she was crying. I don't know. I guess I don't know what a panic attack really would entail. I've never seen anyone have one. I know what you're saying, but I'm not sure. But it was, I don't want to know. I don't want to say it was awkward, but it was like, okay, what is she going to say? What's about to drop? Because it seems like something was very triggering for her.
Did she make any eye contact with Diddy? Like, or was she completely just
No, at a certain point, I had to remind myself that she wasn't reading anything, because her head was down so much. I think she really just doesn't want to be seen. And in the morning, the government said they wanted the screens in the overflow room to be turned off and just audio, and the judge said no. So I could just tell this was very uncomfortable for her.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
must have been something else to watch that in the courtroom. Lauren Conlon, thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for being our eyes and ears inside.
You got it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.